And so I lived in Kansas all my life until I moved to Burundi. And Africa was never on my radar. I never wanted to go on safari. I never wanted to go see the Nile. I never wanted to go dance. I didn't know anything about Africa. Never really mattered to me. And I had this linear life. Went to high school, went to Tabor College here in 1997. A long time ago, got the job, started working the job. So this picture, next picture, is a picture of me. I got a job in a bank. I wore a tie every day to the bank. I worked at a bank in Wichita, Kansas, Fidelity Bank. Great place for me. And yeah, next slide. I had the car. I had a good job. I had good benefits. I had vacation time. I had good friends. I was involved in my church. I was living the American dream, I would say. What we say the American dream is. And I was comfortable. I was comfortable and I knew it. I was uncomfortable being comfortable, but I didn't know what to do about it. And so I just kept going. This is what you do. You get the job, you work your way up, you retire in another 40 years or whatever it is. It's just what we do. And as I like to tell it, I was foolish enough to go on a short-term mission trip. I went to visit this guy. I went to France. And it was a short trip. And like I said, I'd grown up in Kansas, I'd grown up in the MB Church, and so I knew about missionaries, I knew the stories they told, I know the weird clothes they wore when they came back, and these funny sayings and stuff. But it never really landed on me, so the first trip to go see Craig and Fabi in France was just, this is what missionaries do, this is how they live. You can drink coffee every day. This is just how it works. Came back from that, continued on in my banking life and my career, was just living out life. Trip comes around again. Jana Hildebrand asked me to go on the trip again and to lead this time because I had already been. My next yes, okay, yes, I can do that. I can lead a trip. It's fun to go to Europe, see a lot of things, eat some interesting food. So I go back, and the second time I remember walking around the market. I think it's the next slide. Yep. And it was an Islamic market. There were Muslim people there. And I just remember being struck by how stoic everybody was. There was not a lot of reaction. There was not a lot of joy. Granted, when we go to Dylan's, we're not happy, bubbly people. Like, we got our task, we're getting our things done. But that affected me. I noticed that. And I said to somebody out loud, I said, what does God want me to tell these people? And I don't think I'd ever thought that before. So I come back from that, and I remember I was a mess. Didn't know what to do with it. Didn't know where it would go. And so I was weeping. One day, I'm just weeping in my kitchen for no reason. That's not something I do. Not then. Now I do it quite often. But back then, I never did that. And I couldn't control it. I couldn't stop it. I didn't know what the reason was. And it happened again at a church service. The pastor called us to the front. If you were thinking something, you're feeling something, whatever, you go to the front. Again, I'm a weeping mess. Don't know what to do with it. Have a conversation with Jana. She says, hey, there's this vision summit coming up. You should go. I was like, maybe that's a no. Like, that's not me. That's not something I do. I don't go to this vision summit. But that was my next yes. Okay, I'll go to this vision summit. And it was in Plevna, Kansas. Does anybody know where Plevna, Kansas? Yeah, we got some Plevners. Plevna? There are more cows in Plevna than there are people. But there's some really good people in Plevna, especially on that week. And so I'm there, I'm maybe the oldest one there. Totally out of place. Did not know why I was there. Just kind of wandering around, and Stephen Humber for the first time. Thank you, Stephen. You were my small group leader. And I was going into it hoping for that burning bush. I didn't want to see the people. I wanted to see the actual burning bush. God, you show me the burning bush. Of course I'll follow you. Of course I'll go that way. Give me the talking donkey. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'll do whatever that donkey tells me. Right? But I didn't get it. But I didn't feel like he closed the door either. And so in my mind, Proverbs 3 tells us, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. I didn't understand. And so the only thing I could say was, I'm available. So I come back from that, and previously I've been living this formula life. I knew if I did A, I did B, I did C, I could get to D, right? It's kind of how us bankers work. We evaluate, we plan things a lot. But with this, there was no formula. I didn't know how this worked. I didn't know what the next step was. How much time I got? And so, the next step. Somebody said, I think Stephen said, hey, why don't you apply for Multiply? Multiply is the sending organization for the Midnight Brother denomination. I'd known it all my life. Never ever thought about applying for them. Pretty quick to disqualify myself. I'm not a missionary. I don't have a Bible degree. I'm not this prayer warrior. This isn't for me either. But eventually, I filled out the application. Next slide. Go back one. I didn't feel like God closed the door. This is what that was supposed to be. The door is open. And if you look close enough, this is not me. This is Victoria. Okay, next slide. So I applied Multiply. And I don't know, I fill out the application, whatever, okay, this is my faith. They wanted 3 references, from your church, from a friend, and your coworker. I said, I am not telling my work that I'm doing this. That'll submarine my career. I was kind of holding my cards a little bit, like I'm not going to tell them that. So they didn't get that reference, or that recommendation. So I fill out the application, and I get a call. We would like to invite you for an interview. Great. They've had people all over the world. They can tell me I'm not qualified, you don't have the right degrees. No, they say, yes, we want to have an interview with you. That turns into a 4-day event for me to get to know them to get to know me, ask questions, listen. Cal, you were a part of that. You took me up to Canada for that experience, or Washington for that experience. And we did a silent retreat during that time. Has anybody gone silent on purpose for, I don't know, how long? 8 hours a day? 40 hours? 48 hours. 4 days? 4 days. That's impressive. I'd never done a silent retreat. What are we doing? We're just out here, just walking around. And it's beautiful. It's this beautiful place. It's in Washington State. Pine trees, rivers, trails, great vistas, great place to look. But I decide I'm going to go for a walk, and I go the other way. I don't go to any of this stuff. I go down this old road. It's flat, it's farmland, it smells like manure, and I'm walking along, I'm like, God, why did I go down this path? What am I doing down here? I should be up in the trees and whatever. And so the road comes to a T. And I'm walking along the road, and it's either right or left, but I decide I'm gonna walk straight through. And I turn around, and I look at the way I came. Go back one, please. And there's this sign. And I thought, boy, Lord, that's interesting. It was dead end. And I felt like he was telling me, you can't go back the way you came. You can't go back to the life you were living. And as I stood there looking at that sign, I looked to my left, and it was straight. Next slide, yep. Went down a little bit, flat, took a left, and I looked to my right, and it's hills. And I can't see over the next hill. And I felt like this was a bit of a crossroads. I can go back to my career, I know how this life plays out, yeah, it's fine. Or I can choose this adventure, where I can't see where it's going, where I don't understand it, I don't know what's next, I don't know what's over the hill. What happened after that? We get to the end of the 4-day training, and there were 6 people invited to this interview. Sorry, 6 people invited to this interview. You remember this? 4 of them were dead set. I know I'm supposed to go to Turkey. I know I'm supposed to preach to Muslims. I know I'm supposed to go to Japan, whatever it was. There were 2 of us, me and this other lady. We had no idea. I don't even know why I'm here. You guys should have disqualified me before I even got here. I don't know why I'm here. The 2 people they invited to training were me and this other lady. The 4 people that were, I know this is where I'm going, they didn't take it. So I'm thinking, great. We do a psychological exam. I don't hear anything for 2 months. Nothing from Multiply. No, hey, how you doing? How's your life? How's Jesus? Nothing. I didn't know how I did. Did I score well? What did I say? I don't know. What's next? Did I break the test? Was I top 10? How did it go? And so I felt like my next yes was, I gotta tell my boss. I think I felt that it was Easter time. So I go in the next day, I say to my boss, hey, there's this opportunity, I filled out an application, we'll see where it goes, I don't know what's happening next. The very next day, I got a call from Multiply. They said, we would like to invite you to a training, a 3-month training, at the end of the year. And I'm going, oh, shoot. And I didn't say shoot. Now I am really at that crossroads. I'm choosing my career, or I'm choosing this wild adventure with Multiply. And I remember calling Butoy and saying, I can't walk all this way. I can't go through all these open doors. I can't take all these steps, remember this? And get to this point and chicken out. No, it's not for me, Lord. You opened all these doors. This one I'm closing. I said, I pretty much have to do this, right, Bruce? He goes, yes, you do. Okay. Quit my career. I go to training. We go to Multiply for 3 months, do a training, and Multiply has people all over the world. Thailand, Peru, Panama, Africa, France. Oh, this is Canada, by the way. Beautiful. You should go there, right, Josh? Okay, next slide. All over the world. There's somebody there that's from serving in Burundi. And there's an invitation to me to join us in Burundi. I don't know where Burundi is. I had to Google it. Anybody know where Burundi is? It's in Africa. That big one there, it's next to that. It's the little one, you can't even see it. And I remember talking to a mentor of mine, and going into this training, I thought there'd be this, hey, we have all these options. You can take this, you're skilled for that, you should go here. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said, well, do you have any other options? And I thought, no? It's Burundi. All right, what are we waiting for? Let's go to Burundi. So that Burundi was my next yes. Costa Rica wasn't showing up, Hawaii wasn't showing up. I guess I'm going to Burundi. So I committed to that. I moved there in 2018. And next slide. And it's been incredibly fruitful. I've been involved with things that I'll go first. Been involved with things that I never thought I would be involved with, never thought I was qualified to do. But I just kept saying yes. Next slide. I've eaten things that maybe I shouldn't have. God is preserving me. Yeah, made lifelong friends. lifelong partners that we work with. Been incredibly blessed. Would not change a thing. I don't know if I can go back to banking. I hope I never have to. I don't know if I can sit in an office again. It's been incredibly rewarding to walk this out, to see God's goodness, and to proclaim what He's done for me. Your turn.
This idea about what is your next yes is exactly what I saw from Travis. My turn. And it wasn't, yes, I'm going to be a missionary. Yes, I'm going to Burundi. It was yeses stacked on one on top of the other that got there. It was just stepping through the next door that was open. So the Vision Summit that he talked about in Plevna, there was a question posed, who's feeling a call to the nations or to a nation or something along those lines? And he had already voiced, he'd already been on the France trips, he'd already voiced that there's something stirring there. And when he said that, people started coming to the center and we were going to pray for them. And I was towards the back. And I look across the crowd and I see this tall head standing in the middle. No, it was yours. And I was impressed by the courage, and I was blessed by the obedience. Because I think I would have had a pretty easy time talking myself out of that. I can make this commitment some other time. I can do it some other time. I can catch it on the next round when I'm a little more confident. And yet he stepped into the middle of that. That's what I remember about that Vision Summit. And that impressed and that blessing was my yes. Yes, go. Go. Watched him go through the training pieces, like you said. You called me, do you have to do this? Yes, this is my yes. Go. Go. I'm sending you. Go. Tells us about Burundi. We too have to Google it and look it up. Where's Burundi? I've never heard of this place before. It's crazy. And through my yeses stacking up, got me ready for Burundi. Yes, Lord. Yes. Yes, I'm ready to send him. Yes, I want him to go. I want to send my Amahasa to the nations to invite more Amahasas into the family of God. Excellent. Back up one, please. So then I realized, let's plug in. I realized as I was saying all these yeses, I was agreeing with God. Yes, I agree. And I was agreeing with what the experience that Travis was going through, but then I realized I need to say to him, I need to verbalize, I release you. And that's what this picture is at a track training. And I realized I needed to say it for you, and I needed to say it for me, and I needed to say it for the Lord, and as Kimberly likes to say, I needed to say it for the enemy. That I release you to what may be, from Mark 10:30, he who gives up a brother, sister for the good news, gets 100-fold brother, sister property. And persecution, it says that too. I heard about that from Ricky a little bit more yesterday. But it was clear that it was worth it to release it to do that. And it has been. And I think that's the urgency or the encouragement for me in missions is like, let's go invite more brothers and sisters into the family of God, because we have them at the Abundant Life Home, we have them in Peru, we have them at the Naomi House, we have them in Hillsborough, we have them in this room. And that was, man, if I could get more Amahasas than what I've got, like, yeah, let's do it, Lord, let's go, let's send them. So that was the blessing to that. So a little bit more about like this idea of what is your next yes. A few examples from my life that are here locally. So this summer I was at a discipleship conference here in Hillsborough, and I want to share 2 stories from that about what your next yes would be. one night we were having a worship session, and I saw a young man across the way. I didn't really know him, but he was worshiping with all sincerity and authenticity and just outpouring, just so honoring the Lord with his worship. But I thought I should go tell him, I think the Lord is pleased with your worship. I think the Lord is honored by your worship. I didn't know him, but in that context, it would have been okay to do. And I couldn't move, I didn't move, and I didn't do it. And the next day, we were sharing a little bit about what are your hopes, dreams for this conference? What do you want to see happen? And this particular gentleman said, I just want to honor the Lord with my worship. I just want to love him with my worship. And I was like, I missed it. I didn't say yes to partnering with God. And had I done it, who would have been glorified? They wouldn't have said, Bruce, you're great. Thanks for coming up to me and saying that. Would this person have said that? Oh, great. Thanks for coming up and saying, no, we both would have said, the Lord has seen us and knows who we are and is honored by what we're doing. And I missed it. So a few days later, another worship session is happening. And I'm feeling kind of locked up. I'm feeling isolated. I'm feeling kind of down and out. I'm feeling like this conference should be this, kind of like what Marion was saying. I really want the Spirit to come. I really want to have this amazing experience, but it's not. I'm striving, I'm reaching, I'm trying to grab this thing, and I can't get a hold of it, and I don't know what's going on. And I was just kind of distraught. And that same prompt that told me you should go say that to that person, that prompt came again. And again, I was paralyzed. I couldn't move. And I looked across at the person that I felt like I was supposed to go over to. And I was like, what do I got to lose? The thing that I have to lose is my pride. And that is worth losing. And so I remember my right foot just moving. The smallest bit, 6 centimeters. Just a little bit. And I was rolling. And pretend like you're related to me, right? So I walked across the room, and it was my cousin that I felt the tug to. And I walked over to my cousin in the middle of this worship set, and I said, would you pray for me? I'd never done it. It was a prompt of surrender that I'd seen my brother walk through that took just the tiniest bit of courage, motion, obedience, surrender to just move that foot a little bit, and you're off, right? And I say all that to say, what is your next yes? That was my yes. Move that foot just a little bit. Okay. It wasn't a Burundi leap. It was adding up stuff that gets there. And so tonight, when we ask the question, what is your next yes? It could be a yes to just smiling while you're singing. It could be a yes to Jesus for the first time. It could be a yes to, I'm going to go ask that person to pray for me. It could be a yes to, this nation is now in my heart for the very first time. It could be a yes to, I'm going to fill out that application. It could be a yes to, I just think the Lord delights and honors even our smallest yes. Because when they stack up, and the next one is, what do you think about Burundi? You're like, Lord, I've been walking with you. I know your voice. I know this is real. Yes, Burundi. What do you think about giving money to these pastors that are in Laos that family needs help? I've been walking with you, Lord. I've been saying yes to you. You bet we're going to fund it. We're going to send money.
So a couple of months ago, I had a bit of a health issue. I had a small stroke, and that was a difficult time. It was in the middle of August. I was sweats, chills, fever, headache, extreme vertigo. I was crawling around my apartment. I could not stand, I could not move on my own. And so I got moved to Kenya to get more advanced training, or more advanced medical help, more advanced resources and analysis, and eventually came back to the United States. And in that, I still had a yes. It was not something I could get out of it my own. I needed needed the help of other people. But I still felt the Lord walking with me in that. I didn't understand it. Maybe the first time in my life that my body had failed me. Couldn't fix myself. Couldn't take a lot of medicine to help me. But I just tried to get to the next yes, Lord. Okay, maybe today I can get out of bed and I can walk a few steps. Maybe I can, yes, Lord, I can eat a little bit. Yes, Lord, I can get on an airplane and go to Kenya. Yes, Lord, I can go across the ocean and get back to the United States. Go ahead.
Yeah, during that time, there was a time difference, there was a communication gap, but we were getting maybe one text a day from Travis, we were getting a text from others, but it didn't look good. It didn't sound good, and we were worried. We were worried. We got a text that he's in the extreme dizzy. We got a text that he's using a wheelchair. I'm like, a wheelchair? You're kidding me. This guy's in great shape. He's climbed mountains. He's done runs. He could guard anybody on the basketball court. I just can't understand this. Like, what's going on? So we got the news that, all right, he's in a state of being able to come back to the U.S. I'm thinking I'm going to have to wheel him around the airport, and I'm going to have to assist him along and carry you. Yeah. Like, I'm the younger brother, gonna have to take care of my older brother. Yeah, I was really scared.
But hallelujah, we are here. I'm here, regardless of the results.
And yeah, what I'll say about that. Yeah, and he was walking with a cane, and so it just wasn't used to that. But it didn't change my yes either. I had released you. Had I not said yes there, I'd be like, come with me. The enemy can't create bitterness here, can't create anything because I've released you to them. So there was a scripture verse that hit both of our hearts during that time. We want to share that with you to wrap up. And we would like a volunteer to read that. So if you are feeling a yes to read scripture,
Good. All right. I think we should also add.
Oh, is it up here?
No,
I should also add, because we are twins, this is not an ESP thing. This was not a wavelength thing. This was a spirit thing. We both came to the same verse. And that was our anchor during this time. 1 John 1, 1 through 5.
That which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, which we have looked at and our hands have touched. This we proclaim concerning the word of life. The life appeared, we have seen it and testify to it. And we proclaim to you the eternal life, which was with the Father and has appeared to us. We proclaim to you what we have seen and heard, so that you also may have fellowship with us. And our fellowship is with the Father and with his Son, Jesus Christ. We write this to make our joy complete. This is the message we have heard from him and declare to you. God is light. In him there is no darkness at all. Okay. That which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, which we have looked at and our hands have touched. This we proclaim concerning the word of life. The life appeared, we have seen it and testify to it. And we proclaim to you the eternal life, which was with the Father and has appeared to us. We proclaim to you what we have seen and heard, so that you also may have fellowship with us. And our fellowship is with the Father and with his Son, Jesus Christ. We write this to make our joy complete. This is the message we have heard from him and declare to you. God is light. In him there is no darkness at all.
So we are here to tell you that we have seen it, and we have heard it, and we proclaim it. All these yeses along the way. Small as a step, small as moving across the country, small as getting a stupid haircut and driving all the way back to Kansas, crazy as going to Africa. All these yeses stacked up, we proclaim that to you today.
Sharing our joy. Thank you.